times. And I would love to begin our time by giving a recap of the major transits that are happening now, affecting us, and how we can work with them, what these planets are actually asking of us or promoting, giving us an opportunity to manifest. So we're going to, and then I'm going to talk about the new moon in Virgo, which actually isn't going to be until August 27th at 4:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can mark your calendar for the new moon in Virgo on August 27th, 4:16 a.m. Again, always at new moons, that's the time to set intention. That's the time to plant our seeds for the month to come. The new moon is always the sun and the moon together. So in the sky, you don't even see the moon. The moon, there's an emptiness. And that's the emptiness of this new moon kind of creating the space for us to plant the seeds that we need to plant now. But I'll say more about that and what kind of seeds we might want to consider planting with this Virgo sun and moon. But before that, let's just start with where we are in the scheme of things. We've come off a 26,000 year cycle. This is the very end. It's called like the dark ages, it's really a tough cycle, the last 26,000 years. Although I think there were better times. The culmination of it are considered the degenerate time, the dark times. I remember asking my Tibetan Buddhist Lama teacher what that meant, because he would tell us, you know, we're in these end dark times before the reemergence, before the new birth. And he said that it's a time of like coarseness, of like people losing it and not able to like hold. In Buddhism, it's very important to tame our minds and work with our emotions so we're not overcome by the sadness or the joy, that we're able to stay like that middle path. So the need for that middle path now, as we see all hell seemingly breaking loose around us. I mean, I have a hard time looking at headlines these days because they all seem so shockingly terrifying. Like, I won't even say what I saw the other day, but I just closed the phone and I went outside and I put my bare feet on the earth. And I just breathed and I came back into my body, because that's really where the place of safety. People, I think many of us are looking for, like, where's our safety now? Where's our security? When it seems like the bottom is falling out and the top is falling off, and what the heck is going on anyway? Well, this is exactly what these times are. They're the tumultuous, changing times. And that change is happening with abrupt, unexpected, shocking kind of breaks of all kinds. Breakups, breakdowns, breakouts, breakthrough. This Uranian energy that I'm referring to is meant to advance us, is meant to advance our civilization, is meant to take us from the age of Pisces, which was the last 2,000 years. And that was really the age of belief. You know, you just believe. Yeah, a lot of people had a lot of superstitions, right? There was a very deep religious tone to the last 2,000 years. Religion played a prominent role. This age of Aquarius changes. It's not about belief. It's not about religion. It's not about these organized forms from the past. The age of Aquarius, ruled by Uranus, the modern ruler, Uranus, is really meant to free us, is meant to free our consciousness from this narrow state. A lot of teachers call it like the 3D consciousness, like this is all some people think there is.
She's
and if
wearing
that's
our
all,
necklace.
I am.
I'm sorry.
Hi, love.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Wait, what'd you say?
Very funny.
I'm
This
sorry.
is I had a birthday, I don't know, what was it, 9 days ago. And this
Oh,
was
Belated
my,
birthday wishes.
thank you,
happy
thank you.
birthday.
And this beautiful necklace was given to me by Phyllis, who was on the line, who
Oh,
exclaimed, "Oh, she's wearing our birthday necklace," to
That's
her
nice.
husband. Didn't know she was on audio, so lovely.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful. So we come back for the need to be sovereign, grounded, connected to our bodies, to our hearts, and to our divinity, really. There's a need to pull it in, to recognize that out there, really in the world, that there aren't the answers that we're seeking. Yeah, there are some answers, and that's fine. But the real answers that we are seeking at this time are the answers that we can know within. So this time is really forcing. What happened in 2020 when Pluto and Saturn came together, when they joined at the exact same degree in Capricorn, the 27th degree of Capricorn. That's when the pandemic started. And it did feel like all hell started to break loose. That was the beginning. Well, that was the next phase of the breaking. That was the prior phase of really saying, no, this cannot stand. We will not, the systems that have to die must die. And even the contradictions with stories, you hear someone say this about the virus, someone say this about the vaccine. There's so much seeming controversy and different opinions and different ways of looking at things that it can be very confusing, to say the least. Who do you believe? Who do you trust? So I am making this radical statement based on the astrology that really the point of trust is within. Not to say that it isn't wise to use, to have friends and partners that love us and know us reflect back to us things that we don't see. I mean, that is a necessity because none of us see everything about us. But really, when Pluto and Saturn came together in Capricorn, that was the beginning of the destruction of the systems, of the structures of our society. Just like gone. And here we are in 2022, and we are still in that stage of breakdown, of destructuring, of things coming apart, of polarization. However, there is a force in all of this that is stronger and more persistent than any old ways that we've known. And the way to access that force, that Uranian force, that breakthrough force, that fire that Prometheus brought from the gods to humans. This is our fire. This is our will. This is our time to decide who we are, what we want, how we want this world to be. And it's us. We're doing it. We are creating this new world, all of us. all of us who are seeing, who are looking into a future and bringing their best, not only intentions, but like our best selves to the table. You know, it's not the people that keep asking me, when is this going to be over? And I really like laugh, because it's not, there's no over here. It's really through. We are meant to go through this time connected to our sovereignty, to our bodies knowing more and more that we can trust our own intuition, that aha that we feel down into our gut, that gut knowing that we can trust that. And even if it takes us in a wrong direction once in a while, so be it. Let us use it. This is the time to really come into the body. I recommend body practices, yoga, Tai Chi, breath work, mindfulness meditation, chanting, meditation of all kinds, in order to bring our bodies and minds into balance, into oneness, into unity. And the connection to the earth. With Uranus in Taurus, it's about our physical bodies undergoing these, let's put it this way. Stephen Forrest, a very wonderful evolutionary astrologer, describes the planet Uranus as a hand grenade in a box. So Uranus, that's what Uranus wants to do. It just wants to break us free. It wants to take us out of all the constraints and say, it's my life, it's our world. Let's do it the way we want. And there's a very revolutionary, innovative, forward-thinking, future-thinking energy to Uranus. That's the energy that we're wanting to harness. It can be hard on the body. We can feel like jumpy. We can feel like irritable. We can feel electric. Sleep might be difficult. We could feel like tired, wired from this Uranus in Taurus, because our bodies are undergoing this massive shift. As just think of it like think of bolts of electricity, bolts of lightning coming down and just zapping us physically, zapping our cells. So whatever we can do, I love the martial art Aikido, because it uses the energy and it kind of takes the energy and it knows what to do with that energy. So with Uranus, we can visualize this energy coming through and enlightening, illuminating every cell of our being. We can actually open up and say yes to this illumination and feel and go with it. And maybe there's movements that want to happen, or like ecstatic dance that comes, or even deep tears, that this energy that's meant to really illuminate and bring us into our full galactic divine citizenship. We're not just humans, and we're not just humans in a family, in a state, in a country, in a hemisphere. No, there's so much more. And that's what Uranus is wanting to teach us. So maybe if we are struggling to go to sleep, don't go to sleep, stay up and do some breath work. I find breath work to be remarkable in helping to channel these energies and help our bodies adapt. We need to adapt to this energy. Many people are complaining of headaches, of dizziness, of ringing in the ear, of being off balance, of fatigue. Other than me thinking like everyone has Lyme disease, and do get yourself checked. if you do have those symptoms, take my husband's questionnaire on his cangetbetter.com website and make sure you don't have Lyme disease. But many of these symptoms are actually our bodies, sure, if we don't have that, our bodies trying to adapt to this new energy. And it's an energy of freedom. And for some people, that is, it couldn't come soon enough. We've been waiting for lifetimes for this freedom. And for others of us, it's a little scary. So there is this dynamic, Uranus and Saturn, that have been squaring one another in the heavens for a year and a half, even a little bit more. They will continue till the end of the year. What does this mean? It is the ultimate battle. A square is always a showdown. It's a battle. It's a conflict. These two energies don't get along. They're kind of, they're at odds with one another. And they have to work it out. So usually there's one of those that's stronger and that tends to get the edge. So it's good to be aware of our planets that are squared, because then we can make choices. And it's not always, for instance, Saturn that is dominating the square, right? Because when Saturn dominates our squares, usually we feel depressed, oppressed, pushed down. We're told no, there's delays, there's all sorts of things in our way of accomplishing what we want to accomplish. So it's good to know that if Saturn is squaring another planet, you can actually choose that other planet and have that other planet work in a way with Saturn where it gets its needs met. So every planet in a sign has needs, right? So we're looking at, well, how do we meet these planets' needs? The need for Saturn is to preserve the past, keep it the way it is. Don't change. Gosh forbid. Gosh forbid. It really is all about the past and about the tradition and what happened before and honoring that. And, we say, yes, of course. In fact, if we don't know our past, we're very likely to reproduce it, and not in a good way either. So Saturn always has a place in the chart. It's our work. It's often where we have fear that we need to overcome. So we need to integrate each one of these planets. So Saturn in Aquarius has this need to preserve. Uranus says, no. We are breaking out. We are doing it new. And just be aware that at the end of September, early October, this square will come within a half of a degree of one another. That's the closest it gets. And then it starts to separate. And then they won't be together for quite at least 28 to 30 years. So the other thing about Saturn is that in December of 2021, last December, Saturn made a beautiful, beautiful conjunction with Jupiter in the heavens at 0 degree Aquarius. Many astrologers say, this is it then. This proves that we are in the age of Aquarius. Other astrologers say, well, it just makes it feel like we're more in the age of Aquarius. We're still tiptoeing into the age of Aquarius. The reason why we're not fully in the age of Aquarius is because we're not all free, because we don't all have access to water, clean water, good food, good housing, secure housing, that not every human being on this planet has that. We know we're not in the age of Aquarius because the age of Aquarius demands that. Will there be outliers? Sure, there always are. North Korea, God bless, poor, such a shame. But even still, the thrust in for the next 200 years. So this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction at 0 degree Aquarius, this is the first degree of Aquarius. This is the birth of Aquarius. And Jupiter and Saturn are the two big giants in the sky, the social planets. So they indicate, oh, what's society going to be doing? Where's society going? For the first time in 200 years, last December, Saturn and Jupiter, they meet every 20 years. They come together every 20 years. They met in the air sign of Aquarius for the first time in 200 years. Now, Aquarius is the sign we're looking for here. This is the age that we're birthing. This is the age of freedom and equality. And people really, it's power from the bottom up. You know, it's fuck the Supreme Court. Excuse my French, but I just cannot not say that. And it's, you know, it's fuck the ones who are in charge, who don't really have our best interests at heart, who don't really preserve our freedoms. I'm most interested in that. Aquarius is the sign of democracy in its true, pure, beautiful form, something we've never, ever, ever known in this country, because it started off with just white privileged men, you know, being seen as, you know, equal under the law. Women, children, Black people, forget about it. Nobody had rights, just these privileged whites. So our democracy has a kernel of beauty and truth in the sign of Aquarius. And that's for each one of us to develop for ourselves the desire to be sovereign, to not let anyone pull us by the nose, tell us, you have to do this. No, 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 no. Let us think about it. Let us really think and know that we can make decisions that are good for us. So sovereignty is being born. You know, it is the seedling with this Saturn and Jupiter having come together in Aquarius. So over the next 20 years, this will blossom. So it's something that's a harbinger of something very, very good and very positive. Okay, so let us move on to, let me just say a few words about Mars. Mars is going into Gemini tomorrow. Mars usually spends 6 weeks to 2 months in any given sign. Because Mars is going retrograde in Gemini, it's going to spend 7 months. 7 months in Gemini. It's going to go retrograde at the, I believe, at the end of September or October, come back through Gemini, and then go back to the end of Gemini. And this is going to be very interesting. What we need to be aware of with Mars. Mars has just come off a once-in-a-lifetime conjunction with Uranus in Taurus and the North Node in Taurus. The North Node is our destiny. It's our collective destiny. In the individual natal chart, the North Node is the individual destiny. But you're part of a group, you know, who have that North Node for 18 months. So it's almost like there's a group destiny to every North Node. So this North Node in Taurus, next to Uranus, this gorgeous planet I described as Prometheus, the fire that we can use to know our sovereignty and to really become free and to help others become free as well. No? Mars came into contact with those two big boys, with those two big placements, August 1st. And this was considered to be a real, like a injection of the future. Like, okay, we are moving into the future. Mars is like catalyzes things. And the North Node is our future, and so is Uranus. So Mars comes with a mission. He just got his mission from the North Node and Uranus saying, you are now working for the future. And you're working with us to make sure it happens. So as he leaves Taurus today and goes into Gemini tomorrow, it's going to be a lot of words, a lot of communication. Mars is our passion, our gumption, our drive, our action. Mars in Aries, its normal sign, just goes. It thinks later. It moves first and then thinks. Mars in Gemini, not so much. It does a lot of thinking. You could say maybe too much thinking. So we're going to have to watch for that. We're going to have to watch for Mars in Gemini if the mind gets overwrought, irritable, coming up with too many options. Mars in Gemini can be fabulous at multitasking, at wanting to like, oh, I'd like to take a painting class this week, and oh, maybe a skiing class the next week. It loves to try different things. It's curious. It's that beginner's mind. But with Mars, Mars can push it too much. So watch the balance between thinking and being. I would definitely set up periods of time where throughout your day, you stop and notice, like even an alarm or something every 15 minutes. Catch yourself. Are you overthinking something? Are you driving yourself mad with choices? This or that, this or that. Really, the answers are to be held, are in the body. The new moon in Virgo, August 27th, Virgo is an earth sign. Mars was just in earthy Taurus. So we come back to the body. Virgo is very much in like the perfection of Virgo is the perfection of our body-mind balance. When our mind is aware of our body, of what our body is doing, of what our body's needs are. Sorry. So Mars will start off in Gemini tomorrow, actually in a pretty good place. He's going to be active. He's going to want to communicate. He's going to come up with answers in dialogue. So with Mercury in Libra for the next while, dialogue is often a way out of this incessant, like, if we find ourselves just twirling in an eddy. Somebody who we love, who knows us, who understands us, have a dialogue. Often things can be worked out that way. But just pay attention to that, because there is a square on this new moon on August 27th. There is a square between the new moon at 4 degrees Virgo, sun and moon, and Mars, 4 degrees Gemini. So that's an exact square. So again, there's this showdown. All right, what are the needs of the sun and moon in Virgo? The Virgo is a mutable earth sign. Every mutable sign is a sign of a change of season. So Virgo brings in the harvest. Virgo brings in the change of season. We're no longer in the thick of summer, and we're not quite into fall yet, but we're moving toward it. So the energy of Virgo is really about health and healing and purification. A lot of people fast when the sun, like at this time on this new moon, and doing any kind of health practices. Actually setting an intention and setting the seed for new health practices. That includes diet, exercise, and our daily routine. So for this new moon in Virgo, it's wise to look at our daily routine and see how is it serving me? How is it serving my desires, my aspirations? And if it's not, Virgo is very good at separating the wheat from the chaff and saying, like Marie Kondo, does it bring you pleasure? Then get rid of it. That is Virgo. Does it bring you a sense of beauty? Get rid of it. Virgo, we have a good time to clean closets, to go through things, because Virgo gets a very good, feels good when it's doing its work of sorting and separating. That's what Virgo does in science. It categorizes. It categorizes plants and dogs and cats and all sorts of things. So it has the mind, this analytical mind that breaks things down and then is able to put them back together. So it's a very good, strong mind. But Virgo also likes simplicity. There's something about the daily devotion that is important to Virgo. That when Virgo folds laundry, they're not just trying to get through the task. Virgo folds laundry in a way that's like, isn't this a beautiful thing that I'm doing? There's a sense of pride. There's a sense of appreciation of even, washing clothes, doing dishes. Virgo does like to clean because there's something like cleanliness is next to godliness thing with Virgo. Virgo is the sign of the Virgin. And the meaning of the Virgin is whole and holy unto herself. Whole and holy unto herself. So this again feeds into that sovereignty theme, right? We know ourselves, this is a beautiful intention at this new moon. To know our sovereignty, to know our wholeness and holiness that doesn't require anyone's validation, not one like on Facebook, not one this from anybody, not one compliment from our beloved, that we know within ourselves our wholeness and holiness. That is what this new moon offers us to know. There is a beautiful sense of devotion, as I said, in Virgo, that our days, we can literally revamp our days so that they're in service to what is important, to what is meaningful. And that the health factor, now is the time to really come into a clearer understanding of what our body needs as we go into the darker months, the colder months. It's easy to feel good when you wake up when it's 80 degrees, but when it's 20, it's oh. So we can really put those practices into place at this new moon. So by October and November, we're having our daily stretching practice, our breathing practice, our mindfulness practice, and we're feeling well. We don't have to go into that dark. A lot of people go, into a depression when the light starts to recede in October and November. Okay, so one more thing about this new moon in Virgo. This square. So as I said, Virgo actually prefers simplicity. I know quite a number of strong Virgoan people, and they're not big talkers. They just do. They do what needs to be done. And if they need to talk, they'll talk. But it's really about the doing. It's the doing that's a devotion to what is important to them. So there may be a feeling of conflict that really we feel on this new moon with Mars that just wants to do stuff. Let's talk to this one and go here. And Virgo is saying, no, let's do the slow down. Let's pull it in. Let's get clear. Let's clear away what isn't necessary anymore. But Mars in Gemini has a different need. It wants contact, it wants information, it wants entertainment, it wants funny, it wants interesting, it wants to be like da 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 da. And it can be like really at cross purposes with this new moon in Virgo. So knowing that both have needs, see in yourself what those needs are. How much need do you have at this new moon for more of that pulling it in, slowing it down versus, connecting with this one and going here and checking out this new opening and this play and this group and this concert and all the things that we can do now that we are, seemingly out of the pandemic. So be mindful of that. And the highest aspect of Gemini is this aspect of choice. We have choice. If we are watching our minds, we can literally say, stop, take breaths, do some chanting, put on some music, take a walk, connect to the earth with bare feet, call a friend. We can literally shift, take a writing tablet. I do recommend writing at this time. Mars may bring up a lot of anger. Mars is an assertive planet. It carries, it's the planet of war, for goodness sakes. So our words could become warlike. Be mindful of not getting into arguments. And also be mindful of, with Virgo, Virgo likes to perfect. So that's why we can make improvements under Virgo. But Virgo also has an edge, as a shadow of perfectionism. So watch for that. During this new moon in Virgo, you may want to make the aspiration of like completely giving up perfectionism. And if that voice comes up, like, oh, you weren't perfect, or you did blah, 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 that you can just laugh at it. We set the aspiration, I can laugh at that perfectionistic tendency that, I have, and then let it go. Because with Virgo, again, it's that separation, the wheat and the chaff. It's an adaptable to mutable sign, meaning that it works. It can work for us. Virgo. And Gemini is also mutable air. So again, we need to work these signs or else the shadow gets in the way. And the shadow of Virgo is worry and like nitpicking, like judgment, like, oh, why are they this and da da da, like kind of feeling like we own, like we're a reviewer of people, we can, oh, da da da. That's the shadow of Virgo. So we just want to watch, and the thing really to watch for with this Mars and Gemini for 7 months, because it's going to make some squares to Neptune. And the disinformation, you can just imagine, right? We're in the United States, we're heading into the midterms. So already you see the lies, the misinformation that's trying to, be projected again. So we're going to have to be very, very, another word that represents Virgo is discriminating wisdom. Virgo is able to bring in discriminating wisdom, especially when it connects to the body. Virgo, earth. So we're making our decisions from our bodies, from our knowing in our bodies. If we try to make decisions purely based on that Gemini mind, it becomes very, very rough. We start to feel like no choice is a good choice, and both choices are good choices. And it's like, there's like no way out of that. So it's a beautiful thing, because collectively, as I said earlier, the North Node, our evolutionary movement where we're going together is in Taurus, which is the body and which is the wisdom of the earth and our bodies. So this reinforces that. Watch for gossip, watch for rumors, watch for speaking unkindnesses. It's going to be like you might feel like you want to, you know, you're talking, you feel upset about something, and you just want to say it. Make a decision. Make a decision. If you're going to say it, think and make a decision that, yes, I'm going to say this for whatever reasons. But left to like just unconsciousness, Mars in Gemini, square Neptune in Pisces, gets us in trouble. We don't have good judgment. We're not able to see the forest from the trees. We're fooled by people. We're fooled by things if we're not getting our truth from within. So a meditation practice, mindfulness, in the moment. If we do a sitting or walking meditation, beautiful. If we do a chanting, any kind of vocal, beautiful. Incorporate mindfulness, meditation with whatever. If you're not doing it, if you are, wonderful, keep it up, because that will get us through. Being mindful of where we are, where our thinking is, where our emotions are, and being able to vent. You know, if we feel frustrated, go outside and throw rocks or scream or cry or put on music or a sad movie or be with a friend. But, you know, emotions are high now. You know, we are in just a very, very, the feeling of things is that we're in a fraught state. Like, it's tight. A lot of people are struggling, you know, with anxiety, with depression, with financial problems, with relationship problems, because this is the time of people being separated from the old, of what no longer is appropriate to go into the future. So jobs, relationships, places of locations where we live, everything is subject to this kind of change. So if something doesn't fit, let it go, let it go. The age of duty, of like, oh, but it's my duty, I have to do it, you know, I have to, no. It really is important that we nurture our minds, bodies, hearts with uplifting, with because it's so easy to get dragged down. And so whether it's good friends or good food, our pets, we're getting a puppy in a few days, and that is going to be wonderful. And I know my friend Phyllis is getting a dog too. So all of this is important to sustain our bodies, minds, souls during this time. The last thing I'll say is this Pluto return that the United States is in this year and next year, 246-year cycle. That's how long it took for Pluto to go around the whole zodiacal wheel to where it was when we became a nation in 1776. So this Pluto return is really a crisis of the soul. It's that the crisis is deep. It's like, who are we as a nation? And then who are we as individuals? And Pluto always brings a breakdown, a death, destruction before it brings a rebirth. So this year, next year, there's that feeling of, wow, there's nothing, like, what can I trust? What's real? And Pluto is kind of taking away a lot of things that we thought we needed, but we really don't. And getting down to the essential, Pluto asks us, what is our soul's purpose? What's our soul's reason for being here? And then Pluto takes away everything that doesn't serve that. So we do well by not fighting that. If things are being taken away, we know that that's for our good. If something is so strained that we have to let it go, we know that that's for both of our good, both of our goods. So that letting go, that's what Pluto requires, a surrender, a letting go. And Virgo helps. This new moon will help discern, where do I need to let go? What do I need to let go of? Our habits within and relationships and things without. So we can do an inventory. You know, Virgo likes lists. So we can make lists of things that nourish our soul. And if we don't really know what nourishes our soul, or we only have one or two things, start there. But then discover, you know, ask the question, what nourishes my soul? I want to find out what nourishes my soul deeply. And then maybe we're driving and all of a sudden we see a horse on the side of the road and we pull over and connect to this horse and we say, gee, I didn't even know horses nourish my soul. It's that openness, that feeling of, yes, I take the energy, the Aikido, we take that energy, we take it to actually like uplift us and shift us and clear out the Saturn. But Saturn will always work in harmony with these planets. We will never like go off the planet. We'll never, people talk about ascension. It's not like we're ever gonna like fall out into space because of gravity, because of Saturn. That's the element of gravity. So the good news is we can really afford to allow ourselves to like go, to dream, to feel good. You know, it almost feels like a sin. I show my Catholic upbringing to say like, let's feel good here. But there is something very important about feeling good and living a life that we feel good in and that meets our needs and that we're able to then contribute our unique and essential gifts. And that may just be our presence. We may not need to contribute anything else right now, but just our loving, caring presence. That may be enough. And that's the other thing that my Lama said about these degenerate dark times. He said it will be very difficult, in these times, it's difficult to accomplish worthy endeavors. How we have obstacles. Anyone who's like trying to save the world or heal the world, or, you know, we're met with obstacles, we're met with challenges. And that is meant to make us persevere. My husband and I just watched the last Batman in the Batman series with Christian Bale, the triple Batman series. And oh my gosh, the will of this man, and as he like struggles and overcomes everything, and he just never gives up, and he never gives up, and he never gives up. And honestly, I was so taken, and I thought, why am I so touched by this man, by this character? And it is because that is what we're being asked of during this time, is never to give up. Whatever the challenge, whatever the struggle, whatever we face. Now we just take a breath, and in the next few weeks, if we are stuck, remember, call somebody, talk to somebody. It's going to be really helpful to have a conversation with another person that you trust and respect rather than keep it going in the head. That is like it feels like a gift of the time. Like, okay, we know these are hard times, folks. So this month, we're going to give you this and take it, because you're going to come up with solutions and answers and understandings. And with Uranus, it can be instantaneous. It can be like 1 minute you're in one world and the next second you're in another world. That's the power of this time. Very exciting. And okay, my dear ones, I have no idea what time it is. I'm going to just check in with my friends here. I'm going to go on the smaller screen and just see where I am time. Boy, I'm pretty good. Like 3 minutes before we're supposed to stop. So I would just like to actually end, since we do have a few minutes together, I would like to end with a meditation together. I'll do a short guided meditation. And as we breathe, I'm going to just expand the screen. Okay. So as we breathe together, and I do recommend closing eyes, only because it helps us tune in to our bodies. We've been so trained out of our bodies, sit for like 8 hours a day in a chair at a desk when you're 6 years old. It's like, what? Our bodies have been, harmed, I think, by this, patriarchal control. So as we close our eyes, if it does feel comfortable, if not, keep eyes open. And let's just start our breathing. And I suggest also one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly button, like a little bit below the belly button. And breathing together, knowing there is just this one breath. This one breath right now. And honoring this breath in this now. The foolishness of thinking there is a past or a future, when it's just really now. So we breathe together now in prayer. And the breath is the prayer. And we let the breath go to wherever it needs to go in the body to bring relief, to bring healing, to bring nurturance. Doing a body scan. That's a beautiful thing to do during this Virgo season, starting on August 17th. Actually, it starts on August 21st, so you can do it now. Body scan each day, morning and evening. Take time to check in and use the breath to bring whatever is needed into the body. And in this now, in this one breath, always now, I'd like us to take a moment and honor the Leo season that we are in currently, and we'll be leaving shortly in the next few days. We missed our Leo new moon and full moon. So in a way of honoring Leo, the sign of the child, the sign of love, play, laughter, recreation, recreation, joy, children, spontaneity, living in the present moment. We honor Leo, that sign that's ruled by the sun. So for a moment, just imagine, let's imagine ourselves all together in a circle, in a field, under the August 19th sun. And feel that sun shining, illuminating, warming, life-giving. We breathe in those the rays of the sun, appreciating it for the life that it allows us to have here on earth. And feeling that sun on our bodies, on our skin. Let's visualize that sun coming down, 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 right over the tops of our heads. Feel that sun, maybe a foot wide and a foot high, right above our heads, each individual, that sun. And feel its brilliance as we breathe in the rays of the sun, and then feeling with each breath the sun coming down, down through our heads, down into our faces, down into our neck and shoulders, feeling every cell illuminated, completely illuminated by the sun's rays, rejuvenated, enlightened. And that sun slowly comes down into our hearts. And now let's visualize the sun in our hearts as our heart. Feel that love center radiating out to all beings. And then let that sun continue all the way down the body, flushing out. Let's bring in a little Virgo now. Let the sun flush out and purify anything that needs to be physically, emotionally, mentally purified. With a few breaths, the brilliance of the sun, purifying, transforming, illuminating. And let's come back and just feel that sun in our heart center again, because the heart is the Leo center. And pay a little extra care to our hearts these days that love and feel so much. And some care for our bodies, that no matter what condition they're in this moment, they transport our soul. They house our soul. And for that, we are grateful. As we set the intention under Virgo to make the appropriate adjustments to our physical health in the next month. and just a deep appreciation for this group, for our time together, for this opportunity to share the astrology, something that's been very close to my heart for 60, that's 60, for 60 years now. So it's a real joy to share my read of the astrology of this time. And more importantly, my prayer and aspiration is that these times together provide useful information so that you can navigate these waters more easily and come through in a better way. Because we're meant to come through this in an excellent way. We're not meant to go under. Even if we do go under, it doesn't matter because we can just pop right back up. So I feel an appreciation and a love and a gratitude. So thank you on this Venus's Day. Happy Venus's Day. Venus is in Leo. So do something beautiful, wear something beautiful, do something really enjoyable with Venus in Leo right now. You know, there's so many other energies, you know, wanting this and that. Let's not forget the goddess Venus and how she shines in Leo. So let yourself shine in whatever ways feel good. And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.